So we are live, Miss Sheila. I'm so excited to see you.
Same here. It's so great to see you again, Debbie.
I don't know where the time goes, so we're going to wait, like 60 seconds to let people get on and everything. But
Okay.
time has flown because hasn't it been 3 years?
I think it's been longer. I want to say 4 years.
Oh my God.
I think it was 4 years because I was trying to find that throwback video when we met in Ohio, right? In Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah. And anyway, and that had to be about 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Yeah, Ohio was I've been to Cincinnati before, but not in that realm. And Stacy and I had the best time with the whole team there at the incubator, if you will, the entrepreneur center that we were at, and everyone just did such a great job. But Stacy and I loved meeting. It was just so much fun, and it was just so cool and everything else. So want to make sure that we're on here live. So I'm gonna do this and get this going. Okay. I like to take care of my own stuff, so it's hard to be able to do that myself and to be able to manage it. But it's a challenge because you're doing this and you're doing your phone as well. But we all have our phones,
right?
Just one of those things. But anyway, So thank you again for being here, Miss Sheila. And as we said, thank you for everyone who's joined us, whether it be live or recorded. I'm Debbie Saviano, and my guest today is Sheila. And we have a little bit of a fun backstory, which everyone who's ever on, we always have a backstory, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Sheila and I met, and Stacy, we all three met when we were in Cincinnati, Ohio with HSN American Dreams. And so I encourage you to please comment. Hello, Miss Sue. I'm so glad you're here. And Miss Lynn. So if you're live or if you're recorded, whichever, please leave comments, ask questions. Sheila and I'll go back in and we'll answer those. And also give Sheila some love. You can go on, and do the comments and the thumbs up and the hearts, etc. So be sure and give everyone their love to Miss Sheila. So Sheila, let's start with, hello, Mr. David, Miss Patty. So good to see everyone. I am a huge advocate of maintaining relationships. And Stacy and I, one of the things we love the most about HSN relationship was just that, the relationships. We met the coolest people, taking people to TV. Of course, that was Stacy's world, if you will, and so it was a natural conduit. But we met in Cincinnati, Sheila. And tell us, we got the new year coming. So 2023 is here. My gosh, we're almost into February, which is crazy.
Insane.
But you were doing a jewelry line and some really cool accessories at the time. So tell us how that all came to be, and then your transition, because many people pivoted during COVID. And so we, Lynn is asking a question on, okay, so Lynn can't see or hear. So Lynn, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you're going to see at the top this live right here. So Lynn, you should be able to tune in that way. So I know sometimes it's kind of a challenge the way it all comes together on LinkedIn. But Sheila, tell us about the jewelry line, the Enza, and then how you pivoted and why. I think it's a real lesson for everyone because many of us went through the same thing, right?
I mean, we really didn't have a choice, did we? Exactly. The Enza was the name of the brand, and it was named after my two daughters' middle names, which was Enza and V, or V, Enza. And I kind of came up with this name to make that the brand. But it was something that was conceived to me through God, and kind of came to me, and all the signs were there. And it actually happened on accident, but I started making this jewelry that started healing people and helping people and making them feel good. And then that ended up I ended up researching why are people commenting on my stuff and saying they're having great days. And I ended up learning that there's a lot of digging, but I want to make a long story short. But basically, the jewelry itself had a lot of meaning. With the stones that I use have energy in them and different properties. So that was one. But I realized over the years that I'm also an empath and a healer. And I think a lot of the stuff was just intended and preyed upon to inspire and uplift other people. And then I created the car accessory line. And it was something I birthed. I did pretty much everything myself. And it was my heart and soul, because it was like, like I said, everything was so divinely guided to me that I didn't question a thing. It was just like, I'm living my purpose and I'm doing exactly what God wants me to do. And then my dream was to be on HSN, actually. And I remember when I moved to Florida, I took a selfie in front of HSN, and I said, I'm going to be on that show. And anyway, fast forward, it took a few years, and I was invited to attend the American Dreams Academy that I met you at. And that was a life-changing moment for me, because I just met so many wonderful people, so many wonderful friends that I still have to this day. But a lot came out of that event. And lo and behold, the jewelry clips, I mean, not jewelry, sorry, the car accessories ended up going on HSN. And Stacy invited me on HSN to be a part with her, to train a little bit. And then it ended up leading to Canada's Shopping Network. And we were just taking off and everything was going wonderful. And then COVID happened. We were just about to land some national contracts, actually, and the world stopped. And when the world stopped, so did I. And I couldn't sustain I just couldn't sustain anymore. So I had to let that go. And letting that go, honestly, I guess you could say, was like the first time I actually grieved in my life. So I know we were talking earlier about that. And I never really experienced grief until then. So I was sort of lost, didn't know what to do. And I went through a pretty dark time of like, who am I? Because this is what defined me. And I always wanted to write a book. And then it took a while, but God worked in mysterious ways again and picked me back up and started, praying again and journaling again. And he gave me the vision and the signs to write a book that I've been wanting to do for 18 years. And so I met someone who said, oh, you should meet this person. And then that person was like, we're doing a collaboration. Would you like to join? And that led to that. And then I led to my own book. So it's I'm trying to make a long story super short.
But I think that's so important, Sheila. Beautifully done, by the way. But I think that Stacy and I, when we did HSN, and with all Stacy's connections and all of her interactions with over all the years that she was on HSN, and then meeting you at American Dreams, and it shows you how important those connections are. So many people on this live today, we've met through different ways and different channels, if you will, but staying connected, because God, sometimes we get frustrated. We're like, well, we think God wants us to do this and it's this way, and sometimes it's not that way.
It is so hard. Yeah. But it is not our plan. It is his.
Exactly.
And I had to surrender to that fully, which is not an easy thing to do. And one of the things I laugh about too, as you and I would say, is there are no coincidences.
There are no coincidences. No. It's interesting because I had this conversation with Ann Small the other day. And I said, sometimes I think God must be looking at us and saying, just work with me, people. I've got this.
Right? Just take a deep breath.
Exactly. I've got this. Yeah, it's got to be a job for him for sure. So social media, which I love. I'm a huge advocate for social media and digital space, but oftentimes it's criticized, and rightly so, in regard to the pretend world. Everything's fake, everything's made up, everything's false, and especially for young people, which I think we as adults have such a responsibility to help them understand that's not always reality, because unfortunately some sad situations have happened because of that. But one of the things I always remember about you is that you were always real world. I never felt like, sometimes you had a lot of makeup on, which was, if you're going to work or whatever, not a lot, what I'm saying? You're for work. Other times it's just Sheila. And I think that's so important, because I think we need to show people the real us. And I think that journey of you writing the book, tell us a little bit about some of the things you've done with social media, because I know you do the videos and you do different things where you're just talking. Tell us a little bit about some of that.
Yeah. I have to say, social media is our world. We have to live in this social media environment, especially if you're an entrepreneur and in a business, right? I mean, how are you going to get messages out there any other way? And when I was growing the brand, it was wonderful. And I wanted it always to be uplifting and inspiring. But yeah, like you're right. But we have to, at the end of the day, also realize we're human And yeah, we look much better with makeup on, but hey, you can be raw and real too. And it's okay. But I feel like when COVID happened and everything, and I went into that world, I personally had to take myself completely out of social media, 100%. I needed to heal, and seeing the effects that it had on the world, but mainly our youth, was really concerning to me. And watching all these children suffering from depression, anxiety, and suicides, and honestly, which is why I created the book in the first place, is really to hopefully help. I feel like they and we all are, since the world has changed, are craving change and craving something real and authentic, and discovering who we are again and who we are in the beginning. And I say that social media is great. I get it. And it's what we have to do to promote ourselves and our companies and our businesses. However, there's also a lot of negativity that comes along with that too, especially as a youth. I mean, think about it. They don't use merely any of their senses. Everything is literally done for them. And that's what scares me. So yes. I'm hoping we can change that a little bit through the experience.
And I think it's so true, Sheila. And I think that's why I'm always preaching about we need to model what should be, because I think that often in adults, you know, people, this is kind of a side note, but not totally. We're in a new year, 2023. A lot of people give young people a bad time for their phones. They're always on their phones. They're always this, they're always that. I see just as many adults, if not more, on their phones. We as adults should model what's appropriate behavior, how you're supposed to treat one another. And I always say, treat someone like you would if you were in physical space, just like you would in digital space, because it would be totally different. Very few people would have the nerve to be unkind in real space, but they think they have a weapon. And as Patty says, too many hide behind technology, and that is so true. And I think that, you know, and I think I've done a little bit without makeup, not too much, but then I don't wear that much, but I have done a couple, but it is something that I'm not real comfortable with, you know, that's my own vanity. But I think it's great when people do that. And I'm trying to get a little bit better at that, just like I've been doing videos lately, because you know me, I don't know a stranger, but the videos were always more real to you. So that took me a little bit more time to get out there. I love what David said. David said, make a plan and watch God laugh. Janet said, love it.
Exactly.
We're all on the same
page. I've been so guilty. I mean, we all are. It's like, I have this goal. I mean, it's great to have goals, but at the end of the day, surrender them to the Lord.
Right. Know what you want, and then kind of, for sure. Janet is actually working on a parenting book right now in regard to this, which I think is so well needed. So you need to listen.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
David said, social media can be such a presentation like Photoshop. That's so true.
Well, I say that it's like living in a filter.
Yes, everything's a filter. Well, it's interesting because our granddaughter, I won't say which one, but one of our granddaughters is doing something, and she had to turn in this application, and they said they wanted a headshot with no filters. And I thought, see, they wouldn't have thought of that 3 years ago. Well, she didn't have a problem. She'd care less. But they want to know what you look like, right? So I think we're changing our
I love that. You know, actually, I have a real funny story about that today. So we just did some headshots the other day, and I'm sitting with my marketing girl today, and she liked this one particular one. And I'm like, I like that one, but it just seems cold and it needs more warmth. And she's like, well, when she puts a filter on it, it'll look good. And I'm like, these don't have a filter? I thought these were it. I was like, whoa, okay. Well, then I guess with, you know, she can add the saturation or whatever she does to them, you know, to make them warmer. But isn't that funny? And because I don't like my other headshots because I feel so fake and airbrushed in them. I can't stand them. So I'm getting new ones.
Well, that's it. There's so many filters and so many apps. And the younger they are, the more you use them. I use a whole bunch of apps, not so much on filters, but I do use a lot of apps. Yeah. So you and I have had this conversation many times, and sometimes people view someone who does a book like you've done as this spiritualist, and someone, and obviously I'm a Christian, you are as well, but I think some people see them as two different worlds. Talk a little bit about that, because I think your book, Powerful Mind, Powerful Soul, is all that. but sometimes, as with anything, people get pigeonholed into things. And I love the journal you have, because you can do your journaling, you can do your prayers, your Bible verses, whatever it is, to help God know what you want to do, to see if that's what He has planned for you.
100%. I do get that a little bit. I will say there isn't. So to anyone who really does feel that way, God wants you, no matter whatever you want to call it. Okay. And again, I try not to be like, focus in on, to me, it's God. I have Christian values, but I'm extremely spiritual and I have gifts. And I can't believe that God would give me those gifts to be bad. So I embraced them, and it took me a long time to, but I have embraced those because I feel that He called me to do these things, because I feel like we have to be able to go within and self-reflect in order to become better people and the world to become a better place. And that's really the ultimate goal of the powerful mind, powerful soul experience. It's just not taking you, it's not a religion, it's a self-reflection. And I think we all need to do a little check sometimes, including me, on a daily basis. And to me, whatever form that connects you to your source, for me, is God, then so be it. But for me, journaling is where my magic lies, and where I think a lot of the magic lies. And, you know, there are Bible verses in my journal. There are quotes. It's inspiration. What inspires you? And don't put a label on it or put it in a box. Just be open-minded, I guess, and be willing to take that leap and look within.
It is so true, Sheila. And I think that everyone should want to have to live the most positive, loving life they can live. And so however you accomplish that, I think is so important. And like I said, I love the journal for that very reason, because you can do that. And I think that's one of to our point, and all everyone on the live today, that's some of the things that's wrong with social media. It's like, well, it's my way or the highway. It's no.
Right. It's a one-way street.
Yeah, and it's not a one-way street. How people get to a certain location is their choice. And if your book and your journal and your inspiration cards can help them do that, then praise the Lord. And that's awesome.
You know, if we all were better and better every day,
yes,
imagine how much happier and peaceful and loving the world could be. That's what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. And again, obviously I'm a Christian, but I want that for all religions, for all faiths, for all beliefs.
For all faiths. We are but at the end of the day, we're human beings.
Yeah.
That's it. We are human beings.
And I saw it. I wish I'd have written this down. I saw a quote yesterday by an actor, and he said, none of us are getting out of this alive.
I've heard that one before, and I love it.
We need to be loving and kind and considerate, because I thought, my gosh, you know, we always think we're going to live forever, but that's true. None of us are going to get out of it alive. And so
we're not.
Nope. So how can we leave the world a better place? And so talk to us a little bit about Powerful Mind, Powerful Soul, about your book. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I like to actually call it an experience. The book itself is very simple. It's very easy. It's relatable to anybody. And I did this purposefully because I wanted it to range no matter what gender, no matter what age group. I mean, teenagers on up, right? It really is stuff we all know, but broken down in little simple chapters that you can even read. Just one chapter a day could take 5 to 7 minutes, let's say. But I relate it to a lot of the trials and tribulations I've had in my own personal journey, on how I was able to overcome those obstacles using the tools that I share in the book. And the book has some exercises in it. And then it ends each chapter with one of my inspirational cards. And then I also have the journal, because I was like, a book's not going to be enough. Everybody will read it and they'll feel good for a few days. But as a human and creature of habit, we tend to always go back to what's comfortable. And getting uncomfortable is really where the magic lies as well. So, you know, a lot of people have a fear of change and fear of facing a lot of things, but you can't evolve and grow if you don't dig deep enough to discover what those things are. And I mean, it is a daily practice for me. I'm no angel and I'm not perfect, but none of us are. And I say to almost everybody, who would I be if I didn't do this every day? That's kind of frightening,
Well, that's a reality check, right? Do you have a book handy? I lent mine to my granddaughter.
Shoot.
I know. David just said, do you have a book to hold up? And I'm like, oh my gosh, David, you're so right. Hello, Miss Stacy. We're so glad you're here.
Well, no, I was supposed to be at home actually, and I was running late because I had another call. So I'm like, I'm just going to plop here and do it here. And I don't have anything in front of me, which is embarrassing. I'm sorry.
Well, and again,
actually, you know what I do in my car? But
just as David said that, I thought of it this morning, and then I loaned it, and she's not home. And I mean, we live on the property, but she's not here. And so I couldn't get the book.
I wish I could text.
Yeah, we all
grab the book out of the car.
We fell short, David. We fell short. However, I do have the link going across the bottom here, and we'll put it in the comments where you can get the book and the journal, the cards and everything. But it's like always think you're totally prepared, and then
like I said, I was like, okay, we gotta come here.
For sure. So I was talking earlier about social media and some things that you've done. I think this is important for 2023 because there's so many things changing from the last 2 years, right? And we're still and now we've got the economy, we've got the war in Ukraine. There's just so much going on, much going on. But you've had a tendency. Hello, Miss Hannah. Oh my gosh. My dear friend Hannah's here. Hope your year's off to an amazing start. Yeah, Hannah Fernandez. Yeah, for sure. So what you've done some fun things on social. I remember the goat yoga you did.
That was so funny. Oh
you were the first one I heard about goat yoga, which is the point in saying that is sometimes you share stuff that oftentimes you don't think is going to have an impact. Bill Hale, who's very successful in his venture with Fetch Goat, he does goats. And he's always joking that the more he does with real live goats, the more engagement he gets over all these, amazing things he does.
Crazy? Yeah, I actually have to credit my photographer on that one. She was amazing. She just did the greatest, funnest shoots when I had Bienza, and she would be like, we should do a goat yoga, and I'm like, what? That's a thing? I didn't even know that. But
the goat on you. Well, we have 2 goats, but the funny thing is here, our 2 goats are way too chunky. They would like smash us if they got on us. They're not the kind of goats that you use for yours.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah. But I think that with 2023, I think that's how people should look at things. Like there's so much on design and how you put images out there. Nostalgic is a really powerful thing. You have a really cool video of us together at Cincinnati that we're going to try and put up later. On LinkedIn, but when you can go back in time and remember those things, the memories are there. So for people watching, when you can do that, that's so important because it draws the person in, if you will. You talk about the book and the experiences. What are some of the experiences that you included that you feel like are going to resonate or have resonated the most with readers, because I know you've got some great testimonials and stuff that I've seen.
Sure. Well, one of them was when I did have to lose Bienza was grief. And that to me was really, really hard in how to get through that and rediscover and pivot in life and figure out who I'm going to be at almost 50, so that in itself, that was one of them. I suffered a lot medically. I have an autoimmune. I have stuff that just, COVID did not help. Let's just say that. So I struggled with a lot of that, but I also healed from a lot of that as well. And, I guess I'm always like, I got to prove I'm going to do this. And I was a medical miracle in 10 days. And I thought that was a pretty miraculous story. Went from, having to be diagnosed with what they thought was leukemia. And, they said you have to come back in 10 days for a treatment plan. And I was like, no, okay, well, I'll come back, but my blood work will be perfect. And I don't get perfect blood work. So, that's not a norm for me. And I did. I came back 10 days later. My blood work was perfect and no treatments for Sheila.
Good for you. That in itself should be an inspiration for people to read the book because a lot of people struggled. A lot of people had to pivot during COVID, and a lot of people are still struggling to get back on that track, if you will. And for many, it's changing, and that's okay too. That's okay
That
too.
is okay. I say embrace the change. Welcome,
Exactly.
bring it. Let's go.
I love change. I'm not
Me
the norm.
too.
I
Actually thrive on change.
I get bored very easily if I don't have
Me
a little bit of that. Tell us about Super Soul. Tell us about Super Soul.
Super Soul, I think, is just when you are able to truly disconnect from everything else. And it's like your one antenna to source. That is when I think you become a super soul, is when you are able to actually see the signs that are being placed before you and like using all of your intuitions and able to discover this is a sign and a confirmation on the thought I just had. And I just actually posted something, I think today on like TikTok. I don't know, one of those things. But yesterday, as I was thinking about this journey and feeling so grateful inside, I get to a red light and the car in front of me says, "Oh God." And here's another one, is when I couldn't read, I think this is in the book, when I didn't know what I was going to call the brand of that jewelry line at the time. And I had called it Enza and V Creations, but I'm like, I got to condense this if I'm going to make a brand. So I prayed upon Vienza. And the very next day, I kid you not, the picture's still in my phone. I lived in Chicago and it was a black Pathfinder. And in front of me, the license, I prayed and said, is this the name I go with? And there was a license plate that said VNZina. So I'm like, my point is, when you're a super soul, you're connected and you're aware of the signs and blessings that are kind of coming around all around you. I think we become so consumed with those filters sometimes and these other non-important things and judgment and all these other things that we're not focusing on what's really important, and that's being your best self.
You and I were talking earlier before we started about, and then during the conversation here, how I joke, God looks at us and says, work with me, because right. We don't, we're so multitasking. If I didn't start my day and end my day with prayer, I can't even fathom what my days would be like. I just can't fathom. So I agree with you. Now, during the day, sometimes I got to step back and take a breath, because to your point, it's a constant effort because there's so many distractions.
There are.
In life.
There are. So I feel like it's just you do. So the whole premise behind powerful mind, powerful soul, and being a super soul, really, I'm sorry, did you ask me something? Oh, no. When you are in that mindset, you radiate a particular energy and vibration. That energy and vibration is like a magnet to whatever it is you are actually trying to manifest. And that can be good or bad, because if you're self-talking to yourself poorly every day and thinking negatively every day, well, pretty much negative things are going to happen, but if you can change that mindset and switch it to be one of positivity and not say negative things to yourself, even, your life will change.
Right. Amen. Totally agree. Patty says the heart surrenders everything to the moment. The mind judges and holds you back. And that's why the focus on the positive and being alert to that each day. 2023 is here and we're almost into February, which is crazy. What are your plans for 2023? Do you have anything coming up that you want to share?
Where do I begin? I was like, this is the year I'm claiming it all. This is the year I am not sitting back anymore. This is the year I'm embracing exactly who I am. This is the year that I am just surrendering everything to whatever that is to be. And my real plans really are to spread this message as much as I can on the experience so that we can raise the vibration on the planet. That's number one. I would love to have a little podcast, just one little tiny one. That would be a What Would Sheila Say? Because I feel like people are always coming up to me and telling me their problems. So I'll give them a once a week a little platform to answer someone. but I will give it raw and real. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I also, there's so many things I want to do. I want to get into design. I love art, and that's my passion. But I also feel like this is my purpose, and I'm trying to balance both. But I know I can't do that right now, so I'm trying to take little baby steps in the right direction. But honestly, to me, I feel like whatever I am supposed to be doing is going to come my way, and whatever that is, I'm open to it.
Good for you. Good for you. We'd love if anyone on the live would share what their plans are for 2023.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. There's a really cool, and I think it's on TikTok. I'm struggling, full transparency. I'm struggling because I gave up TikTok because of China and because of all the evilness that they have, right? The Communist Party. And I just, but at the same time, this is one of those God moments for me, God wink, if you will. But I miss it because of the amazing things, positive things I saw on there. There were some really cool positive things on there. But there's one, I think she started out doing that. I think her husband joined her, but their whole thing, all they do is they ask people what they made. They both quit their full-time jobs, and that's their career right now. So they go out on the street and they ask people what they make, and it's been a huge success because most of the time people don't say that. They don't tell you that, and it's so
imagine that. I mean, again, and it's like, so maybe here's the thing. I mean, algorithms are huge in social media. So if you are someone who's looking to be inspired, your algorithms and the things that pop up for me on TikTok are all so highly motivational and inspiring.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and there's so many wonderful creators out there that,
for them to share their voice, to share their message.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't see anything negative on there. The negative is the Chinese influence, but as far as the creators, I love what they do. I mean, it's just
me too. I mean, it's amazing. All these people have all these gifts and talents.
Because I look at these people dance. I think I
want to dance like that.
Me too. Well, I can't, and I wouldn't, put that out on anybody because I can't dance. But
I can on tequila.
I couldn't even do that. David, I love that progress. Cut the chains, even the ones I put there. That is a really powerful thing. That's kind of a good ending for us. We will put into the comments the live link for Sheila's book. We'll also, I highly encourage you, if you go on LinkedIn, you go where it says, network and details and stuff. If you put network, you click on that, it'll show you everyone that was registered for today. Highly encourage you to reach out to them if you are already connected to them. And just say, I saw you registered for the LinkedIn Live with Debbie and Sheila. I'd love to connect. Simple.
Yeah.
Because there, as Sheila said earlier, and I think we all in this live would agree, there's no accidents. There's no coincidences. We're all here for a reason, and we may not even realize what that reason is today. But there's a reason that Stacy and I stayed connected to Sheila after, you said it was 4 years, Sheila?
I think 4, Debbie.
Yeah, probably.
Please don't tell me it was 5. I think it was
a long
4.
time ago. But there's a reason, and social media has helped that for us to be able to stay connected. But all the people here that were able to stay connected and be supportive of one another, we want to continue to do that. So connect with each other. Make sure you're connected to me and Sheila as well. And if there's something I can do to be of service, please let me know what that is. If it's within my realm, I'll do this. I'll do that as well, Sheila, and we'll post the link for her book. So I thank you so much for being here, Sheila, and for sharing.
I thank you, Debbie. Seriously, thank you so much. It was wonderful. I couldn't wait to see you again.
I know. We talk online and stuff, but to see our faces, that's why I love the LinkedIn Live, because you get to be on screen with one another. So it's too fun. And I'm so grateful for everyone who tuned in to watch this live, and I hope everyone on the recording will enjoy it as well. So everyone have a fabulous day, and thank you again. Thank you.